Hi, I'm Devin, your wine club assistant manager here at Raymond Vineyards, and we are with the lovely Stephanie Putnam, winemaker. And we're going to be going through your February Library Club wines, and this month we've got the 2000 Generations, our 2003 Reserve Cabernet, and our 2006 Oakville Cab.
So this is our 2000 Generations Cabernet, and 2000 for me is a vintage that is a little misunderstood. I think because it came right after the 1999 vintage, which everyone heralded as the wine or the vintage of the decade, if not the century. So 2000 came right after that, and it's kind of hard to live up to the reputation of the 99. But in my opinion, as this wine has aged, it actually has eclipsed the 1999. I think it's showing better now than the 1999 is. It has a lot, because it was a cooler vintage, it has a lot brighter acidity, and I think that acidity has really allowed it to age gracefully. It's more of a red fruit driven wine. This is something, if I were going to pair it with food, my favorite would be a hard cheese, specifically fresh Parmesan, which is almost like eating butter. It's so good.
That sounds delicious. Yeah, like a nice cheese board would probably go really well with this wine.
Yes. So this is our 2003 Napa Valley Reserve Cabernet, and if you hear some birds in the background, we're in our guest house right now, and there's some lovebirds that Jean-Charles gave to Gina as a gift, and they're being quite active right now. I think they're celebrating Valentine's Day a little early,
very
personally.
Amorous.
Good thing we have a cloth over it so we can't see. So the 2003 vintage, you know, once you do one vintage, then they all kind of start blurring together, and so I always have to remind myself of what I was doing. And so I asked Devin what she was doing in 2003. And
I had recently graduated high school.
And so now I feel old because I was long past high school. And
not that far.
So 2003 was one of those vintages for me that was later, and it was a vintage where you kept waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting for everything to come in. Everything just kind of stalled out, just waiting for the moment to pick. And then all of a sudden, I think that we picked everything in about 10 days. So it was a very extracted vintage, but very short at the same time. And so we waited. Everything came in at once, and then we were able to take a breather. It was really quite nice, actually.
Yeah. And Stephanie and I were just talking about maybe some of the foods that might pair well with this nice old cab, and we came up with, you know, it's still a little cold, especially back east. A nice stew would pair nicely with this.
Yeah, and like a nice hearty beef stew I think would really stand up well to more the heartiness of this Cabernet.
Yeah, and it's drinking perfect now, so enjoy. So
this is our 2006 District Collection Oakville Cabernet. And Devin and I were just sharing a glass of wine of this. One of my favorite parts of the job is we do get to drink these older wines.
Yes, we do.
And I was just amazed at how much youth this wine still has. So this wine is a 2006, so, you know, it's
It is 9 years, almost 10.
It's 9 years old. And that's actually my favorite time to drink wine, is about 8 to 10 years after its vintage. But even for 2006, which was a cooler vintage overall, but because this fruit comes from the east side of Oakville, which is on the Silverado Trail side, tends to be a warmer, hotter area, and so in a cooler vintage, that location really allowed us to get the full ripeness out of the grapes. And so for me, the amount of cassis and blackberry and perfume that just jumps out of the glass is amazing.
Would you say, I mean, with so much youth, well, not so much, but with the youth that this bottle has, does it have more time in the bottle? Could we age it for another 5 years?
I think you could drink it now and really enjoy it, but if you wanted to have a bottle out of your wine club selections to drink now and then hold, this would be the one that I would probably hold, just to give it another couple years.
We hope that you enjoy it, either now or in a couple of years.